Well, it's a beautiful day in Sheffield, and instead of being outside, I'm gonna be inside all day at a synthesizer convention, and we're going to ask the difficult questions. Oh, the big guys, they're here. Oh yes. Oh my god. This is the room where I went to my first gig. I saw Orbital play on March the 18th, 1999 in this space. I was 15 and now I'm back. I mean, come on.
My Alarm Melodies here at Synthfest 2022. Welcome everyone, let's take it around the show. Let's go.
I'm speaking, I'm asking you questions.
Well, I can hear you.
Yeah.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah. It's Rhodes. So there's a Chroma. Holy shit.
What's that even doing?
That's amazing. I don't know, it's like on a bit mad. Maybe that's the next project or the next products. Oh, they've done that. So now do that. Right? Why not? Oh dear. Oh dear. Decisions. Right, bye. Chris, thanks for filming.
No, it's my pleasure.
What's this?
No idea, I've never seen it before.
I've actually never played on one of these before in my life.
And it's a thing of beauty.
I just want to hear like the basic tone. Do you know what I
Okay,
mean? Like
so
the-
let's go to a patch. Get you a bit of volume so.
That one doesn't like screech.
It's not a self-oscillator. There we go. That's a nice nod at the end there. Should I?
That's an affirmative nod. I'll keep going.
Instrument, and then the instrument.
Aha! Aha!
Yeah, so instrument, and the instrument picks the instrument.
It is nice. Oh, there you go. It's a Wangulator, of course. I mean, this...
Program in Python. Other people can submit programs because it's all open source. So these 5 up here are all running different things. This runs like a chord oscillator with detune. This one's a polyrhythmic sequencer. You can load all of the scripts onto a menu and then just pick whichever one you want.
So, cool.
EuroPi. Because it's a Raspberry Pi Pico and Eurorack, naturally. It's not a very inventive name.
Yeah. What is the state of Eurorack as a manufacturer?
The chip shortage is making it kind of difficult. Thankfully, the RP2040, which is what I'm using, doesn't seem as affected. It seems to be getting even more DIY friendly. I think there are just a lot more people designing things and sharing them.
So you rely on other people's code and things that are
yeah, so I've written some of these scripts, but most of these have been written by other people.
But is it expensive? Or too expensive to do?
Yeah.
Can you make any money?
It is expensive.
How are you making a living? I know you don't make a living because you're a student.
Yeah.
But it's like, does this even help pay off your student loan?
Not a substantial amount.
Yeah.
But my aim is that I can design a few things like this. So this one's a new module that's just a comparator, 2 inputs and 10 inverters, bipolar or unipolar, and it will just compare 2 inputs.
Yeah.
Which is not a very complicated circuit. It's easy enough for me to design, so I'm hoping I can design a few modules like this, have a bit of a range, and then work in a bar and make them on the side, you know.
Thank you very much. Alan, synthesis. What is the state of Eurorack right now?
The state of Eurorack?
Yeah.
Seems very buoyant. I mean, mind your back.
Sorry.
Seems very buoyant apart from the supply chain, you know.
Like, is that not like the biggest issue? Are people actually able to make things at the moment? And like stay
Well, yeah.
afloat?
I think what's happening is you get two schools, don't you? You get the ones who kind of go, I can't make anything that I've got in my design catalogue, I can't make back catalogue of stuff. And you get people who go, oh no, we've designed around it. So the analog, actually, funnily enough, analog or pure digital seem to be doing really well. It's the hybrid stuff that requires the specific chips that is really suffering.
You've got companies that are like, not releasing things or having to redesign products.
Both. I think both, and that's really tough. You know, that's really tough because that means, because you might redesign it and then there's another chip, you know, that then is in shortage, or you didn't buy enough, or suddenly the way they said, no, we've got loads of those and there aren't. You know,
Yes.
I would, rather you than me, I would never want to. That must be so stressful.
But also everything's getting more expensive.
Yeah, but we ain't seen nothing yet, really, have we? So I think, unfortunately, it's going to go up a bit again and then down a bit. You know, innovation. Adversity brings innovation.
Amen.
And I'm not talking that in a capitalist sense. It's adversity makes innovation, not outrageous capitalist behaviour makes innovation.
But like this one. I think this one slows it down.
How did this happen?
I sent him a cheeky message on Instagram.
You sent like Teenage Engineering to say, would you like to do a CPU?
And they said like, oh yeah, we know you. Yes, we're up for that. And
That's
then
insane.
this is ages ago, literally over a year.
Yeah.
And then it just sort of kept talking. I would have liked to have had a pocket operator.
Yeah.
But the state of the market at the minute with chip shortages and stuff, it just weren't going to happen.
It's also like, what I understand is like making LCD screens is like crazy money.
Yeah.
It's like one of those things that people wouldn't realise is really expensive.
Yeah. And so they was like, what about just a case then? And I went, yeah, I'm up for that.
Amazing. I'm going to have to buy a case.
Oh, nice one. Yeah, put that one back up. I didn't realise they were up. Nice one, yeah, just take one.
Thank you. Cheers, Chris. I need this in my life. Nina, what is the state of Eurorack?
The state of Eurorack is that we'd be shipping things if we could get the parts, basically. We're lucky in the sense that we have other means of income. But
Okay.
I really feel for people that are doing this full time, because if you can't ship anything, you can't make any money. For example, stepper drum we've had done for a year.
Yeah.
It's been a year since that was finished, and we've got a 6-month lead time on the microcontrollers, and that 6 months has been slipping. It's been perpetually 6 months.
I don't understand how that, like, it's untenable, right?
I know,
'Cause you can't,
it's ridiculous, but
so you just can't even take orders because you couldn't
can't take
deliver.
them.
Like,
I managed to scrounge enough microcontrollers to do a small run of stepper acids before Christmas, where after that it's going to be at least 6 months.
what?
The only other thing we could do is redesign it slightly, but that's a massive change to be changing microcontroller. Even if you're just changing one part, you got to requalify it for the particular software.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just a case of swapping something out. You've got to change the PCB. You've got to respin that. There's costs involved in respinning that, and even then you've got to then test it, go through the whole thing again.
Yeah. And yet keep it the same price.
Meanwhile,
or like,
everything's increasing in price. So
Yeah,
the
yeah.
microcontrollers, not only can you not get them, but they're twice as much as they used to be.
did you say that if this was full time for you, you would have gone out of business?
Well, yeah, totally. Yeah.
That is mad. It's just mad. I guess some folks are managing because they do have a backlog. They have some
Yeah.
stock they can limp on, or they're
yes.
pivoting and like they're doing things like you see expert sleepers making an analog module.
Yes.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like, maybe you could have done the similar, but
I mean, we wanted to sort of specialise in the sequences, and unfortunately, the type of thing that we wanted to do just needs microcontrollers.
Yeah.
It's sad, but we'll plod on.
Rock and roll. Thank you, Nina.
Thanks.
Tom, is your rack dead?
It's undead.
What do you mean?
It's been dead. It's been buried. It's been necromanced, and it's back from the dead. It's a zombie form. Actually, I always thought that, seriously, without bantering aside, when you always used to say, I think the point of synthesizers is really to have experiences with them. I always think that's really true, because I feel guilty, like everyone does, but you've got a very expensive synthesizer sitting there and you never make music with it, and I just think, yeah, but sometimes you go on it and you go on it of an evening and then you have an hour and a half of getting into a world with it, and then that's just experiences in your, that you've made something in your head forever. You're going to always have that experience with you. You had a good experience with that synthesizer, and I think that is really true what you said. I'm saying your words back to you, that's all, but yeah. That's just something, isn't it?
Are you getting a Colossus?
Am I going to have a good experience with it?
I think you will have an experience.
Yeah, I think you will. That's like a room of your house, isn't it? That genuinely is like an extension in your house sort of situation of synthesizer.
The people have like orangeries or like a conservatory. You'd have a colossary.
You know,
or like a
synthatorium. Yeah.
I would dedicate a room in the house to that. I feel that it would be necessary.
My sound system takes up less space than that. That's the kind of thing you can hear 2 towns away.
Can you describe your sound system?
Well, it's the kind of one you can hear 2 towns away. We've had people trying to find a rave in the wrong town that we've been putting on. That is completely true. Right? They'll be like, oh, you were in Ash. We thought you were in Torham. We were looking for you. Yeah.
We heard you. Yeah, the sound was bouncing off a nearby mountain. Should we go and look at it?
Let's.
Do you want to hold this?
The thing I like most, just approaching it, initial feelings, is the protector there for the pegboard. Do love that.
You mean you're referring to these?
Yeah, the perspex. That's brilliant.
Why do you think they need protectors to protect the pegs, Tom?
Because the dangerous radiation can come out if you.
You can only open this for like a few minutes at a time.
That's right.
And you have to like wear one of those belts that measures like Roentgens that you've been. How many Roentgens is bad?
More than 18, I think.
How many Roentgens do you think this is putting out right now?
I didn't see the oscilloscope. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
But it does have something about it of a nuclear power station, doesn't it? It looks like something you'd have in the control room of Sellafield or something.
It looks like if it was badly handled, it could go on fire. And then it has a shut down and start up procedure. Like, you do it a certain way.
The 2 keys.
Or you're in a lot of fucking trouble.
With the 2 keys at the same time.
Does it have keys to start it? And I'm not joking, I think it might. It feels like it should.
Voltage controlled locks could be a new thing.
I definitely agree. Hi. Hello.
There we go, it's a bit more interesting.
Can I ask you a very quick question?
Yeah.
Why did you make this?
I love building synthesizers. It's my hobby, but it's a business.
Yeah.
A hobby that's turned into a business. So I don't really think about marketing and sales figures. I think, well, I'll build it as a hobby, like a project, I guess.
Yeah.
And then if I sell something, that's a bonus. But yeah, it's sold not surprisingly, right? It's sold well. There's people at all price brackets.
Yeah. I don't understand how you can like prototype something like this and actually put it into a production.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It's like, how, because it's too big, it might be too expensive to do.
It's a lot of money, yeah. I got like over 25 years experience doing this now, so certain aspects I can do in my sleep, more or less.
Yeah.
And then you just got to multiply all that by 20.
No, I know.
I like the fact there are people that can appreciate it for what it is, and that somebody's willing to take the risk.
Then there is this sense that everything's supposed to be cheap and affordable, but the reality is that if you have that attitude, then you can never build things like this. And it's just like, it doesn't...
The only way to make something cheap and affordable is mass producing and copying.
Yeah.
Or maybe combining mass production with copying. If you want to be original and with handcrafted wood and all that, it comes at a price.
Yeah.
Now you might say, does it really matter? At the end of the day, you're making music, but some people want a certain interaction with their equipment.
Yeah.
They want it to have some kind of substance.
Yeah. Robin, how is Eurorack?
There's a saturation point for everything. You have it with music, you have it with literature, you have it with films. I mean, if you think about film, somebody makes a film about a character, Marilyn Monroe. 3 months later, there's another film about Marilyn Monroe. There's still an audience for this, and we've had discussions over the years about media, people not going to the cinema because of videos and DVDs and streaming services, but nothing really changes. People adapt. So you have a company like Noise Engineering, clearly had problems finding the parts, so they moved into software for the time being. So people, if they're innovative and dynamic enough and free thinking, I think can also find ways around this. I mean, the truth is, I love software as much as I love hardware, and software is an incredibly inspiring and invigorating tool that offers endless possibilities. There's free software, VCB, which I haven't used. Something like that allows somebody an entry point into it. Like anything, if you want to drive, you either buy a fancy car and spend all your money, or you have a really cheap car, or you use the bus and public transport, and you find a way to move.
The point is, you'll still go somewhere.
Yeah, you're still going somewhere.
I
think Eurorack is as challenged as everyone is. I mean, you can't buy cars at the moment. I use a fountain pen. You can't buy ink cartridges for the last year. You can't physically buy them, so you have to adapt. So I'm using a different type of ink. Not that people need to know this, but it's a curious.
I actually need to know what ink you use, because that's the ink that I'm going to use now.
It's cross fountain pen. Cross fountain pen.
Okay.
You
heard it here first, folks.
Exactly.
Are you an influencer? Are you sponsored by this fountain pen company?
That's how I make all my. I make billions. Yeah.
You think you make it with music? No.
No, my helicopter's outside.
Big fountain pen is where it's at.
Yeah.
Look, it's Gaz Williams. What is the state of Eurorack?
Oh gosh, I heard people saying that it's dead, that it's over. I've just got into it as well. Well, it can't. I mean, I think it's too vibrant and vast. I mean, since I got into it at the start of lockdown, after your fault really, after teasing me for years, and then just sort of like just finding it just to be the most amazing place of invention and discovery. So I'm just wondering, I mean, obviously we're all facing a lot of financial sort of troubles at the moment. It's going to be tough times, but I think the community and the format is way too strong. So it might just be a little dip, a little
The fear is that like if manufacturers need to release things to stay afloat and they can't because of chip shortages, then where does that leave us? And I suppose like it could be that all the manufacturers went out of business tomorrow. There's still enough Eurorack in the world to keep people like you busy discovering new sounds until we're like long in the grave.
Oof, yeah.
So, but I suppose that doesn't get us new things. And
No,
so
but I mean, I was watching a little thing about TSMC in the Taiwanese, the biggest semiconductor manufacturer in the world, and they're just opening a brand new, enormous facility. There's going to be loads of new, faster, cheaper stuff coming out. So we might be going through difficulty, but I think the glory days are ahead of us, so I think we're all right. I think just hang on in there. There's plenty of stuff around to work your way through.
Geez, there's there's.
Unbelievable.
Do we need more?
Yes,
of course we do.
Well, it's just innovation, and I think that's the thing that I've been finding on my journey into Eurorack is that the amount of amazing ideas that I've not experienced anywhere else, and you couldn't really experience anywhere else. I don't think any other format has been able to be so flexible and fast reacting to changes. And I've recently got the quad drum from VPME, which is blowing my mind. And that module has got an amazing interface and it's got such unbelievable depth and possibilities in it that I'm kind of like thinking, wow, if this had gone through a bigger team, maybe that vision would have got watered down. So perhaps that's the thing, that having these, these like auteurs, really, aren't they? Being able to bring their things out. So I've got faith. I think there's going to be amazing stuff coming out. It just might be not quite as rapid. We've gone through an unbelievable period of incredible amounts of stuff coming out.
Cheaply as well.
Yeah,
cheaply. And I suppose that's the one thing that's changed as well, is maybe the days of super cheap synths are kind of over, but...
Yeah, but again, supply and demand, from a few conversations I've been having, manufacturers looking at making sure that their products are not going to be affected by these kind of things. So, so maybe a little bit of caution, but I think ultimately this is just a blip in time, hang on in there, folks.
I have a question.
Yes.
Actually, I don't know if I should ask you this, but I'm going to ask you, Jake, as well, which is like...
Why don't you stand in front of
By the way, this is Jake. Jake is the person behind the 185 sequencer. That would be... Do you have Yes. Look. And then Jake is, of course, the person behind the M185, and then which became the Metropolis. So you're quite an important person, I think, in this industry, and you've hidden your face for a long time, which is sort of weird. My question is, and thank you for holding the microphone, but I'll put this to you too, is what is the state of Eurorack? Is it hard to exist as a Eurorack manufacturer in 2022?
Well, that's the big thing. I think getting the parts has been particularly complicated and is a very competitive market. So we sold out of this last week, the first run of these, and then we've redesigned it for new chips, which is kind of insane. No one would ever do that normally, but unless we want to wait a year for the parts, we've actually had to redesign it for different chips, and then it's coming out back again next month, I think.
Did it make it more expensive? Is it feasible?
No, the new chips are actually slightly cheaper.
Oh, good.
So the old chips suddenly went up to £10 each, and there was about 3 of them, and then now they just disappeared. So
I assume £10 is a lot for a chip. The chips I buy are
they should be about £1 something each.
Okay, wow.
So they went
only 10 times more expensive.
Yeah.
That seems totally fine. I mean, I know it's not just like Eurorack, and there's all of the industry is affected by this. Is why I'm asking
cars, I don't know, say cell phones, video games, everything. Yeah.
It feels like I'm very excited to see things like this, because I guess the Vector does feel very innovative and weird. Like there's still weird, interesting.
I like to be weird.
Of course. I mean, the 185 is quite an odd concept as well, which is I mean, I told the story once in a video how you came up with it, but I think I should ask you.
A very popular video.
How did you come up with that?
The sequencer?
Yeah.
I think just getting bored of sequences which are bum 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 bum. I think you covered this story very well about finding these switches. So to see an 8-position slide switch is quite unusual. So when I was in China, I found a whole load of them. So I bought some back and realised you can use them to divide up the clocks.
You bought the switches not knowing, like, oh, I can make a sequence out. You just like,
I think on the plane home, I thought these are
with
fun.
the greatest respect, like, who just buys random parts just to see if they could make a sequencer from them? You obviously had some kind of impetus.
Well, you need to go to one of those shops. In China, they have department stores. There are 6 floors of people in booths like this selling all these parts, none of which you'd ever see in Europe.
Did you have an electrical background or something? Where did that?
Yeah, I used to work for a synth repair shop when I was a kid, when I was about 13 or 14.
But your current day job is?
Film director.
Yep, exactly. That's not. What? Have you made any films that we would have seen?
Oh, commercials, yeah, TV commercials.
Such as?
Years ago, our career exploded with this VW golf campaign with Mint Royale did the music for, which is a breakdancing Gene Kelly. It was like a remake of Singing in the Rain.
The one with David Elsewhere in it?
Yeah, oh, you know him. There we go.
That, yeah, of course.
So we shipped him over from LA and it was amazing. Was your arm okay?
You directed that video?
Yeah.
And you also make the M185 and effects, which is just like, I think there are just sort of, characters is maybe the wrong word, but it's just like, it's amazing the different diversity of backgrounds of people in this industry and how it is people that seem to just have a go at making things, but aren't necessarily, doing this full time. It's amazing that it's possible and amazing that.
Well, I think it's a fun thing, no?
I agree with you.
Is your arm okay?
I agree, yeah.
Glamorous microphones down.
Yes, hello.
Yeah, hi.
I love my 100M is my bag.
Of course it is.
So I
100M guru.
I am. I've got not only the whole 100M, I've got into the world of prototype modules as well. But I borrowed the original from 2008. And as Jake said, it gets you started because it's really easy to understand. That's the genius of it, because it's just stages and then how many repeats and then what happens in those repeats. I mean, it's not difficult, but then there's millions of possibilities. So we bullied him into making it again, and then we bullied him.
Is that we, the community?
That's
right?
the 100M community.
You're like hung outside his house, like,
with hammers and bats. Yeah. You'd done like a limited run of these 12 years ago or something.
Yes, yeah. They're so limited. I think there's 4 of them.
4, right? Okay.
There's a guy called Bakis Syros or someone. I think who's a Greek composer. He bought most of them. I think.
That's nice.
I'm not sure why he wanted so many.
The addition of 4. That's good.
But they came with the box as well.
Oh, the whole, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you mean as in that there was like a chassis around the back?
Yeah, it's all round modules and a
So
big
you'll see that.
Oh, sorry. Don't you dare look round the back.
Don't ruin it.
You didn't ask permission.
Because the 100M, given how amazing it is missing a multi-mode filter. So this is a triple Vactual.
Wait a minute.
Bandpass.
I think this is the insane thing, is that like Jake's modules look so much like actual Roland 100M.
He's done a good job there, hasn't he?
I really think he has done a very good job.
Yeah,
Like,
and they all the signal levels and everything, they fit in seamlessly. So
the typefaces as well are perfectly matched.
Yeah.
I mean, this is what I'm here for. It's like I can't have like.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
You get some typefaces that are on certain modules, and you're just like, I would have had this were it not for the typeface. I mean, it matters.
It does matter what it looks like. I mean, the funny thing is that the 100M isn't the prettiest looking thing, but you only spend 5 minutes on it and then you're obsessed with the thing.
I think it's got a beauty in its like battleship sort of aesthetic, like, and it's cute. It's cute. It's like it's got the real wood effect. Like on the Junos, like
it is the exact same wood, or whatever,
like chipboard with like veneer on it.
It's exactly the same.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah. Right.
Well, thank you, Alex. Go watch Alex's new video about Korg.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, actually, but this is Korg as well. That's fine.
Or anything. Yeah.
Cheers.
Yeah. Cheers.
Dan's really good at playing the keyboard.
Dan's awesome.
Dan's.
does all crazy AM stuff as well.
It just sounds so... Oh, what?
You get it doing talking stuff.
Nice, come on. Where are they made then?
In Meanwood in Leeds.
That fact is so strange to me.
Yeah, it's still very surreal for us as well.
Yeah, and it's feasible, I suppose, is the main point. I think the first question is like, can you actually make things in the UK like this and still make it be profitable and possible and like?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean we're really trying to support like UK manufacturing, and the manufacturers are there to supply the quality that we need for an instrument like this. You know, something like this hasn't been made in the UK for a long, ever really, apart from acoustic pianos. It's a massive industry, but manufacturing in the Rhodes in the UK is a daunting task.
Does anyone else make pianos or anything like this in the UK?
No, nobody, no. But we do in Meanwood.
No, you do in Meanwood, of course.
Yes.
That's where it happens.
Yeah, so obviously it's a massive honour to be doing it, and it's very surreal.
And then, so the Chroma's here. Is there a reason for that?
Well, we saw one for sale, and obviously it's a big part of ARP's history, but also Rhodes' history as well. It's got the Rhodes badge on the back, and so we thought that we would snap it up, and it's just
I guess what I'm getting at is you're not planning on making like polysynths in like Leeds anytime soon, are you?
No time soon. I mean anything is possible basically, but we thought it would be wrong to come here with having that just sitting in our back room and not bring it to Synthfest.
No, you're absolutely right. Even though this feels very synthy in some respects, like the Rhodes.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely got that.
Has that kind of electronic edge to it, but it's, I love it. Dan, thank you so much.
Pleasure, man. Good to see you.
Woo. All right. Stephen, Polypores.
Yeah.
How do you write so much bloody music with modular?
I channel it from entities that come from outside of this world. I think in a serious answer, I think a lot of it comes from the fact that I record live, so I'm not multi-tracking, I'm not messing around with record one track, then another track, and not spending time endlessly tweaking it. I get a patch that I like and record it in like a live take, and I think that speeds up the process a lot. So I don't edit the takes usually, but I'll do say 3 or 4 takes. If I haven't got a performance I like on a patch after about say 5 takes, then it's run out of energy. There's no energy left in that patch. There's nowhere it's going to go. I hate it. I get rid of it and start again from scratch. I do like playing a lot, so I do like spending a lot of there's a lot of kind of handwork goes into my patches. I'm quite a exuberant kind of handy person, and I like to I think when I sort of started out, I did enjoy the whole thing of having it just pressing play and letting it do random things on its own and stuff, but I've come to learn that I do like hands-on performance, and so I've come to learn that the modules that I like are the ones that are a bit more performy, a bit bigger, a bit things like René, where I can just I have that at the front, very easy to access. I can change things on it quite easily. Mutable marbles, that's got a nice big clock knob I can turn. So I do like kind of quite big modules that are playable, and I've also come to learn that I prefer a smaller system. I did have a far bigger system. I like having a smaller system with a bit less in it and doing more with less, because that suits me mentally more. But for some people it's different. I think you come to find your own way based on trial and error, very expensive trial and error.
I think it's just, but with smaller systems, every move is more important because you have less sounds going on. It's that danger that it's easier to crash the track into a wall because you've knackered some part of it by playing too much. So it's how do you actually make a small system? How do you keep it coherent, and how do you know what not to mess with?
Trial and error, I guess.
Yeah.
And I think some of it is just knowing it, like especially for live sets. If I'm playing for like half an hour or whatever, some of that is improvised, but I know the patch back to front, so I know what will happen when I do things and when I don't do things. And I think what inspired it was actually stuff like the No Coast and the Make Noise No Coast and the Soma Lyra, in terms of standalone instruments that I can play pretty much on their own and know so well that I can take them anywhere and know how to come back to
the start.
And that was how I realised when I brought down my system in size that it was like what I need is something that feels a bit like that I can know really well and bring it back to earth if I need to. So I gear the system again around that, around being able to take it to some really weird and uncontrollable places, but knowing at any time I can bring it back. It's like keeping it kind of tethered in some way, even though to the audience or the person listening it doesn't necessarily seem very tethered, but it is in my head and I can bring it back down. After the first 5 minutes, if the first 5 minutes goes well, I know the whole set will be fine. It's a really weird thing where if I go wrong in the first 5 minutes, it ruins the whole gig for me and I hate the whole gig. If something goes wrong at the start, but if the first 5 minutes are okay, then I start to relax. And then I'm fine and I don't make mistakes.
But yeah, it's funny that. Is it just you or is it the patch? It's hard to say. It's like, you know, if you could be more bloody minded and just like power through, maybe it'll be fine. But it takes a certain attitude, doesn't it, to be like, to almost not care.
It's very vulnerable though, because if you're just on your own, you know, you've not got like a band with you or whatever, you know, and it's like. I suppose that in terms of playing live, like the advice I often give to people, that makes me sound big-headed. It's going to sound so different up there to what it does in your room with headphones on. If you can, try and practice through less than ideal speakers, because it gives you a bit less of a surprise when you get in a venue. You're going to have loads of bass. You're going to have hardly any top end. It's going to sound awful. You need to be ready for that.
Do you use headphones to monitor, or do you rely on
live? No, I use it to get my patch set up, and then the way I've got the system set up at the moment is it's closed patch. I got a case from Lake in Italy who make amazing cases, very very good prices. I can close it patch, so I just turn up to gigs, take the lid off, spend about 20 minutes letting it warm up, and then I just check everything's in tune and stuff. And then sound check or level check or whatever through the main speakers, because there's no point with the headphones unless, because it's going to sound so different out of the inevitably terrible PA speakers.
Stephen, Polypores, thank you so much.
Thank you, Alex. Cheers.
Voices that are akin to a £3,000 car.
Tom, do you have an impression of the noise it's making right now?
You actually use that loud as well, like, oh, there we go. Ow! Okay, right. Okay, yeah, I see now.
It's time to leave. And I guess the answer is, it's fine.